Today, we finally, after a very long period of time that was entirely caused by me, we were able to play Circle of Hands again, finishing Ivan's obligation for the first two, or his first two installments of running the game. So I've run it twice. Ivan has now run it twice, and in our future, some point in the future, Eloy's turn will come. Today, I had a lot of fun. Why? First off was the anticipation. The anticipation was heightened by the opportunities to play, which were bulked, the schedule changes, which came and went, and that sort of thing. Having an opportunity to play today and having it be fulfilled, well, that heightened the passion. There was also the character selection process. Each time we've played has brought something interesting in that aspect of the game, being able to listen to a hint or a teaser and then select a character based on some limitations, like you can't play the same character twice in a row. Pick a character that fits. It's kind of interesting. And there are lots of different reasons. Like before you hear the teaser, you can think of things like, I haven't tried that character yet, I think I'd like to try it. Or it'd be interesting if, Eloy played the character I played last time, and I played the character that he played last time, and that sort of thing, for some sort of continuity. But in the moment, different decisions happen. And so I ended up playing Anselm today, which is a character we haven't seen. So now we've seen all of the characters. They've all been, in a sense, unlocked. And the reason why I played him, the reasons I played him were that once I heard what the teaser was, I wanted that sense of fear and desperation, which brings about creativity and brings about, moments of roleplay. That was a meta concern, let's say. That was one of the things that I wanted. I had hoped that Ingolf would appear again, and if he hadn't been selected by Eloy, I probably would have chosen him myself. But once Eloy did choose Ingolf, then I wanted to see those two characters together. And then one of his traits, the fact that he is a romantic, he feels that he is one of the protagonists in a great and sweeping epic, let's say, through the tides of history. That also started to appeal, because some of the sessions that we have played so far have left traces of an epic nature. Our character choices ended up giving us pretty much martial tools to solve problems with quickly, and left us with the potential barrier of rank and station if we were to try to solve things socially. And as people, Eloy and I think, are of a sort that we want to try and solve things socially through roleplay and through the rolling of dice, and not necessarily resorting to violence. And so, of course, in this session, we resorted to violence. And that was kind of exciting and interesting. We resorted to violence because what we heard was so far beyond what right-thinking people should accept, that action was called for. Ivan was really quite in tune with the game, I felt, in letting us know the lay of the land, letting us know the type of people that we had been interacting with, and letting us know that a significant amount of time had passed with us in this community. And he, I think, rightly intuited that we would object to what we were learning, and that we should begin play with kind of a choice. Like, if you really want to see what's going on, you should come with me kind of choice. And, stop giving me these looks of disappointment. Actually come and see what's going on so that you can understand and agree with us. And, of course, we didn't agree. And that was really cool. So it was not immediately obvious, but it became obvious pretty quickly that the tone of the venture was not the normal level of harshness. It may have been so high as squick, and we learned later that was so. And there was a lot of brutality, there was a lot of villainy in this place. And, of course, most of the people are blameless. Most of the people are simply following the direction of their chieftain. And we hadn't seen any evidence to belie their tales of why there was so much violence in the region, in a region that was so obviously filled with bounty. So, once we had the opportunity to come face to face with, what was keeping or what was protecting this village, we leapt at the chance. And then it became a pretty rapid roller coaster ride from then on, with a lot of roleplay and a lot of violence. The violence, the killing, the opportunities for killing very much went in our favor, but just as easily could have gone the other way. So it was kind of nice that the dice were on our side this time. We got to use the combat system, the killing system, much more and more often than before. And it was kind of nice that even though it had been a long time since we played, it worked pretty well. Yes, we needed to use cheat sheets. Yes, we needed to talk to each other about the rules. Yes, we felt that's what we wanted to do and what we wanted to show in the video, and I'm totally content with that. Part of playing the game is actually playing the game and getting it right. It doesn't, just because there may be a video audience doesn't mean that we, need to cover these things over, especially when we're playing to learn and share that process. So now that we've completely relaxed about that as a trio, much the same way as we relaxed about it as a different trio doing the Veil when we were playing Powered by the Apocalypse, the game group feels fully comfortable. We're comfortable speaking in character. We're comfortable asking questions. We're comfortable with how we're going to play, and we're comfortable with stopping to look stuff up. So that's really satisfying. Really looking forward to Ivan's preparation video. There are some things that we know from the chat that we had at the end of the session. We know that there was a single component, and we know that we hit its tripwire. And so that means we hit all the tripwires, which means that while we ultimately did right by the people of this community, our contribution to the legacy of the Young King in Roll-K as a result of this particular venture was a setback. So when people tell this particular tale from the Roll-K perspective, this is a tale of mishandling the situation. And that's interesting. And it really fit. It really suddenly and finally, in the last few moments of the venture, brought home a different aspect to the community, one of its, its traditions, its ongoing history, and its future, and how they would ultimately come to see the events that had played out after the arrival of the Circle Knights. So, I really like that. And so we got to talking, as we often do, about system, about how games feel, about how genre feels, and that sort of thing. And it got me thinking about, in playing this game, in what ways does system matter to me? Because the more I think about, yes, system does matter, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking about how personal much of that can be. The way we play, whether our focus is character or story, or the manufacturing of story, or the manipulation of system, or the camaraderie of friends, or whatever it is, whatever combination or mix of factors of things, however we approach play, that no matter what will rub up against system in some way, either positively and we don't even really notice interacting with the system at all, or negatively, we find the system is getting in our way and stuff like that. So we're definitely not having a getting in our way experience. The system does what it's supposed to do. It's there to help us when we go looking for bits and pieces of it. And those things are tied pretty much expressly to character, which suits me just fine. Meaning that the driving force in a lot of our experiences is the actual mechanical makeup of the characters in the system language. So it matters which character I'm playing to the experience I'm having. It matters to the experience when and if I try to push that character. Do I have any advantages? Am I at disadvantage? Have I been exerting myself? Am I wounded? All of these things matter to my ability to use the system, but also to my portrayal of the character. They're tied to the things that speak to me directly when I'm envisioning who my character is and how they're feeling and what that means. And that's through every experience, through roleplay and through combat. What I have to do to ensure victory in a combat, in an attempt to kill another character, to kill a person. What I have to do in those situations leads to fatigue. It leads to visible signs of effort. It opens the character up, makes them more vulnerable, and all of that is really engaging for me on multiple levels all at the same time, both in interacting with the system. Will I or won't I do this? Will I or won't I invoke the use of a point of brawn to be faster, be quicker, or what have you? And will I or won't I? That system level decision. How does it feel? That in-character experience. What does it look like? The descriptive aspect of it. All of these things really engage me and help me see what it is that's going on around us and care about it. So it was a very good experience. This was not like playing the character I played previously, Kai Ernst, which was described to the guys at one point in the session as kind of like getting on the back of a bull in a rodeo. The way that character came together, and an awful lot of motivating forces pushing into the action. This character is quieter and more thoughtful. And in portraying that character, the last point I guess I want to make in this reflections video is that at a certain point in play, I began to feel like I was playing him as more persuasive and intelligent than he was. And once that question surfaced in my mind, I was thinking, like, why did I want to play this character anyway? And I was once again reminded of his bravery and his romantic nature. And those two things brought it together for me. He isn't particularly intelligent. He's not unintelligent. But he's educated. So he's not coming up with the things he says himself. These are things that he has been taught. These are things he has been shown. These are things that he has realized through conversations with others. These are a result of him trying to find his way in the world and trying to make a way for others in the world, as I said near the end of the session. So when he's speaking to these people in an attempt to persuade them to right the wrongs that they have brought about, he is, drawing on the wisdom of ages in the Crescent Land. And in a sense, in playing, we were creating that wisdom of the ages in the Crescent Land. And that's always a satisfying experience when your interactions are collaborations, when your decisions are discoveries. And that's really what playing Circle of Hands provided for me each time we've played, but very much more so than before this time, as we're becoming more and more familiar with the game and what it expects and how we fit together as a trio of players. It's getting easier and easier to access this very special thing that I find that the game provides. At least provides for me in this way. System matters. So, looking forward to seeing Ivan's preparation video and Eloy's reflections video. And if you watch the actual play and these reflections and whatnot, very much like to hear your experiences with the game and your experiences watching our game. Anyway, take care.